Now that we have the pivot table that contains all the information we need for the calculation of the sums of squares that will make up our analysis of variance, we must first, in order to make the calculations relatively easy to carry out, copy the entire pivot table. And I'm going off the screen with this, but I'll show you the results when I finish. In copying the entire pivot table, I've highlighted everything in the pivot table plus some additional area. Then I'm going to right-click, copy, right-click again, and paste special values. Now I have essentially gotten rid of the pivot table. It no longer exists, and what we have now are simply numbers. Okay, let's look first at the total. In order to calculate total sums of squares, we need to take each one of these costs and subtract from it the grand total mean. Then we square that result and add all of those together. That gives us the total sums of squares. Where is the grand total mean? Let's look at our pivot table. The grand total mean is right here. So I'm going to take each one of the values in the cost column, and I'm going to subtract 6997.94, square that, and then to get the total sums of squares, I'm going to add all those up. So let's go back up to the first one of these, and in order to have a place to work, I'm going to insert a column, and I'm just going to label this SST, even though the sum of this will be SST, not each individual observation. Now, to carry out the calculation, I'm going to say equal, parentheses, click on C2, minus, and now I'm going to go back down and get the value for the total average, which is right here. I'm going to add another parentheses and then hat 2, which can be seen here, and that will give me the first value. However, I need to fix the K39 with an F4, so I will always be operating in cell K39 as I do these calculations. When I hit return, I will get the value that I want. However, I don't want it formatted as dollars, so I'm going to format cells simply as number with no decimal places. That cuts down on the, or no commas rather, that cuts down on the number of things I have to look at. Now I'm going to double left click the lower right hand corner of this cell, and that will put the sums of squares that must be added together into that column. In order to get total sums of squares now, I will say that this value is equal to the sum of this entire column. And that is the total sums of squares value for this problem.